मिलावट हमें मारे इससे पहले हम मार डाले मिलावट को।
आप खाने को खाते या खाना आपको?
थाली में खाना परोसे, जहर नहीं।
अगर आप भी हमारे साथ हैं तो मिलावट के खिलाफ इस जंग में शामिल हो जाइए। सहारा क्यू शॉप, आओ करें मिलावट से जंग।
Encouraging set of data from the US sees home prices rise in June. Wall Street closely watches all of this as it seeks direction. Range-bound trade on the Lal Street. Metals and capital goods lead the fall. Flat close for key indices. Maruti's management faces tough questions at the AGM. Shareholders blame top executives for poor labour relations. Country's largest realty firm DLF breaks its association with the IPL. The company will, however, promote other sports. HCL Info zooms over 20% on talk of Lenovo picking up stake in the company. Noida-based PC and laptop maker says unaware of stake sale plan. Company chooses not to comment. Sonia Gandhi joins battlefront over coal allocations, asks Congress MPs to fight aggressively against BJP's blackmail politics. Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Express with me, Shaili Chopra. Wall Street watch straight away. US home prices bounce higher for a second month in a row. An encouraging sign that housing market is improving in the States. Meanwhile, Wall Street has opened up marginally in the green thanks to Nasdaq with tech stocks firm and Dow Jones a little bit in the red. European stock markets traded lower as investors worried about the slowdown in global economic growth after Japan lowered its growth forecast. Eurozone debt crisis also has been a big concern for investor sentiment. More detailed report on European markets from Mariam Barmad at Reuters.
Well, Europe's top shares lost steam today with ongoing concerns over global economic slowdown. Now, more gloomy data out of Spain, economy contracting almost 0.5% in Q2. This just adds to anxiety of slowdown in the US and China, further raising concerns that Eurozone economies will have a hard time pulling themselves out of debt. The FTSE Eurofirst 300 and Eurostoxx 50 index both fell by almost 1%. Growth-focused stocks and banks were some of the top fallers, but investors are still very much holding on to that idea that central banks will step in the coming weeks. Growing anticipation the ECB will kickstart its bond buying program and ease the Spanish and Italian borrowing costs that we've been seeing.
Onto the Lal Street for a day of range-bound trade. Markets ended flat with the Sensex losing about 50 points and the Nifty below 53.50. Metals and capital goods led the fall. Aisha is joining us with the day's wrap on the session. Aisha.
Well, another week session of trade wherein we traded closer to the 5300 mark. In fact, at one point in time, we were circling around that 53.15 mark as well in trade. It was really metals and banks which weighed heavy on the market. So yet again, the Bank Nifty lost another 1%. We're in an extremely bad breath as well to close the day with about 1:3 and 3 standing to the decliners. JSPL, Sterlite, Hindalco, Tata Steel, Sesagoa, the entire metals basket collapsed pretty hard in trade. In fact, JSPL was down about almost 9% at one point in time. JP Associates, L&T, ONGC, Axis as well as Tata Motors as well fell pretty hard in trade. On the flip side, there were some gains coming in for the entire technology basket. So TCS, Infosys held out, as was the case with Wipro, and Sun Pharma from the defensive pharma pack as well looked okay. Like I said, the pressure was extremely acute when it came to the broader market. So 1% cut coming in for the CNX mid-cap index, about 1.5% loss for the small caps as well. You had Arvind, Pantaloon, Alok Industries, amongst the textile names, PFC, Educom, Welspun, JK Tyre, Seat, Gen Irrigation was really succumbing to selling pressure, as was the case with Divi's Labs, even though it recovered towards close. JP Power, BF Utilities, Onmobile, and most of the ADAG names fell pretty hard. Let's see, most experts do believe that closer to expiry and we would grind slightly lower as well. So we'll pick it up again with trade tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. For now, it's back to you in the studio.
Finance Minister P. Chidambaram was speaking out today about taxation, and he promised that The taxman would no longer hound people. Instead, he wants to broad-base the tax collection and ensure that a large number of people who are not in the tax net also get to participate. Meanwhile, he talks about business taxes and points out that corporates indeed deserve a business-friendly tax regime. He's also hopeful of meeting the indirect tax targets.
Tax administration must be friendly. Most people, I believe, wish to be compliant with tax laws so that they can get on with their lives. I think we should be friendly to the large number of taxpayers who wish to be compliant with tax laws. And we have to be firm with a small number which is non-compliant with tax. Therefore, I've said, try to understand that business must be allowed to get on with business.
HCL Infosystems was a stock that was surging in the market session today after reports that there was a possibility that the Chinese PC giant Lenovo could be looking at a controlling stake. Let's go across to Nitya Balakrishnan, who has a clarification on what this buzz really meant.
It's important to remember here that either parties have refused to comment on this ongoing process, but what we're given to understand is that Lenovo is definitely looking at strengthening its Indian footprint. Of course, remember, HCL Infosystems is the sole distributor of Apple as well as Nokia in India and also has a very strong PC presence. So should Lenovo go ahead and pick up controlling stake in HCL Infosystems, it will not only make its entire supply chain much more efficient, but also improve its delivery footprint here in India. Now, Lenovo is looking at Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities to generate most of that growth here in India. We're picking up, of course, that Lenovo is considering close to 50.1% stake in HCL Infosystems. Remember, promoter shareholding in HCL currently at around 50.7%, out of which the majority is HCL Corp at close to 43%. Reiterating here that both companies have not, commented on this particular issue. But should Lenovo go ahead and actually pick up controlling stake, definitely will be something the IT sector in India is watching out for and could very well change the landscape of the sector in the near term.
Onwards to another deal story. It's been 2 years since Sajjan Jindal's JSW acquired Ispat, and finally there seems to be headway in that merger. We've got more details from Nisha Poddar, who's joining us. Nisha, finally there'll be a giant as they intended to be.
That's right, Shaili, and sources in both the companies do confirm to me that the merger process has been expedited. The process is on at the moment, and there was actually hectic activity over the weekend between the two promoters, Vinod Mittal as well as Sajjan Jindal, and they have agreed that merger is the need of the hour for both the companies, Ispat as well as JSW Steel. In fact, I hear from my sources that within the next 10 days, they're trying to take board approvals and are going to go on with the process, and valuations and the merger ratio is something that both the companies are working on at the moment. How it's going to benefit JSW Steel is because the real fruits of this particular acquisition are going to now show up, because Ispat, remember, because of the losses that it has made over the last few years, has got 2,088 crore rupees of tax benefits, and that's something only after merger JSW Steel can take benefit of.
Nisha Poddar reporting. Thanks very much. Time now for the business lead of the day. The 31st annual general meeting of Maruti today, and shareholders came out in big strength. The management was facing some tough questions. Investors are concerned about the violence at Manesar. The strained relationship between labor and management has been a big issue with shareholders. This could potentially threaten profitability at Maruti. The company tried to address many of these concerns, but Sumit Chaturvedi gets us more details on why shareholders are a worried lot.
The nation's largest car maker Maruti Suzuki is not only battling the labor woes and slowdown, it is also now facing the shareholders' fury that was quite evident in the 31st annual general meeting of the company today, where the Manesar incident was on top of everybody's mind. Shareholders raised concerns on company's labor policies and industrial relations issues, while some also expressed concerns on the falling profitability and company's ability to face violent incidents in future. While some also emphasized the need for better industrial intelligence, the shareholders wanted to know if Haryana is the future of the company or Gujarat. The shareholders also urged Maruti to be more sensitive to labor disputes in future. Maruti Suzuki also tried to address the concerns of the shareholders by telling them that having only permanent employees at the plants and doing away with the contractual workers is the way through which company can have better relationship with workers, and that will prevent reoccurrence of such incidents in future. Some shareholders also chanted mantras to pray for peace and future growth of company. Let's hear what some shareholders of the company had to say about the concerns.
Thanks very much. That's our correspondent Sumit Chaturvedi with the story. Still ahead, it's RBI Deputy Governor who hit out first at SBI Chairman for his views on scrapping the cash reserve ratio. Then we had a response coming in from Prateek Chaudhary himself, who spoke exclusively to ET Now, saying indeed CRR must be brought down. We will bring you details of that face-off in just a bit.
This week on Leaders of Tomorrow series, the spotlights on the textiles and apparel sector. Catch the outstanding success of Suvasa, Greenfoot Ecotex and Dusha Textiles.
There is a wide variety of products that we are selling from Suvasa.
We can really revive the khadi, working with the people, giving new technology.
The USP of our company is to give the right product and the delivery is on time.
Watch Leaders of Tomorrow, Episode 2, only on ET Now.
Brought to you by IndiaMart.com.
Proven on global test tracks, manufactured in 3 continents, available in 118 countries. Apollo tires with U-First technology, crafted for the safety of your loved ones.
It is truly commendable for ET Now and IndiaMart to recognize the achievements of women entrepreneurs on Leaders of Tomorrow.
ET Now presents IndiaMart Leaders of Tomorrow Awards. Win the biggest award for excellence in the SME sector and an opportunity to be on ET Now and a chance to win an international leadership program. Send us your entries demonstrating your business success potential. Brought to you by IndiaMart.
I wanted to tell you how Flipkart.com saved my marriage. I've used them several times, but this one time, if not for them, my wife would have stopped feeding me. I forgot my wife's birthday. You don't forget anything when it comes to her. Luckily, just one day before, she herself accidentally reminded me. So I quickly went to Flipkart.com and they actually had a favorite perfume. Thank God. And the next day, when the gift came, it was wrapped. How nice. That day, my wife really cooked for me. Now I don't shop anymore. I just Flipkart it.
Maruti faces tough questions on labor relations at its AGM. HCL stock zooms over 20% on the buzz of Lenovo picking up stake in HCL Infosystems. Sonia Gandhi asked Congress MPs to fight aggressively against BJP's blackmail politics. And as KBC enters season 6, ad rates shoot up. All this and more on Business Tonight at 9.
A day after RBI Deputy Governor K.C. Chakravarti hit out at SBI boss for his views on the cash reserve requirement, Prateek Chaudhary remains defiant, says CRR must be brought down for interest rates to go down. Industry has the last laugh as the land bill is deferred again. The government refers the key legislation to a group of ministers due to serious differences between industry and the Urban Development Ministry. Sonia Gandhi joins the battlefront over coal allocations, asks Congress MPs to fight aggressively against what she calls BJP's blackmail politics. Reserve Bank of India's Deputy Governor K.C. Chakravarti may have lashed out at the country's largest bank's boss, Prateek Chaudhary, for his views on the cash reserve requirement. Prateek Chaudhary believes the cash reserve ratio should be brought down significantly or at some level even be scrapped. Prateep Chaudhary spoke out to ET Now, saying that he was unnerved by the fact that SBI's boss and RBI's governors had a different view. Simran Gill and Anirudh Ghosh report.
A day after Central Bank Deputy Governor K.C. Chakravarti lashed out at the State Bank of India chairman for demanding that the cash reserve ratio be abolished, Prateep Chaudhary has stuck to his guns.
We think that it is not very supportive of the economy.